If you want to form a limited liability company, or LLC, especially in the great state of Wyoming, then you absolutely need an operating agreement. But what exactly is an operating agreement, and why is it so crucial? Stick around as I'll be covering everything you need to know about this vital legal document. Before we dive in, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more awesome business and legal content. Let's get started. So what exactly is an LLC operating agreement? This is a good question to ask in the sample term. An LLC operating agreement is a legal document that governs the operations and member relationships within a limited liability company. It lays out the rights, responsibilities, and obligations of the LLC members, as well as how the business should be run. While operating agreements are not legally required in all states for single-member LLCs, they are absolutely essential, especially for multi-member LLCs. Without one, your LLC operations will default to your state's predetermined rules, which may not align with your business goals. And to form an LLC in Wyoming, you need to file the Articles of Organization with the Wyoming Secretary of State's office and pay the filing fee, which is currently $100 plus licensing taxes. Wyoming is one of the best states to form an LLC due to its business-friendly laws, lack of personal income tax, and strong asset protection provisions. While Wyoming does not legally require LLCs to have an operating agreement, it is highly recommended to have one in place. This clearly establishes how your LLC will be run and can prevent costly misunderstandings down the road. I hope you got it. Let's quickly answer this question. Can a Wyoming LLC operate in other states? Yes, absolutely. A Wyoming LLC can operate and do business in any other state by registering as a foreign LLC in that particular state. This process is relatively straightforward and involves filing an application and paying the required fees in the state S you wish to operate in. However, it's important to note that while a Wyoming LLC provides excellent asset protection and privacy benefits, you'll still need to comply with the laws and taxes of the state S, where you're physically operating the business. While, as mentioned earlier, while Wyoming law does not legally require LLCs to have an operating agreement, it is strongly advised to have one in place, especially for multi-member LLCs. Without an operating agreement, your LLC will be governed by the default rules outlined in the Wyoming Limited Liability Company Act, which may not be suitable for your specific business needs and could lead to disputes among members. Let's assume you're ready to set up LLC. Like, how much does it cost to set up an LLC in Wyoming? Well, the filing fee for Articles of Organization in Wyoming is currently around $100 plus licensing taxes. There are also additional optional costs you might want to consider, like obtaining a certificate of good standing or reserving an LLC name before filing. Of course, you'll also need to factor in additional costs, like hiring an attorney to draft your operating agreement, typically $500 to $2,000 depending on complexity, or using an online legal service. Overall, setting up a basic Wyoming LLC can cost anywhere from a few hundred to a couple $1,000s, depending on the services you require. Have had about this legal concept of multi-member LLCs and single-member LLCs when drafting your operating agreement? But it seems to be confusing since you're an entrepreneur and not a lawyer. Okay, let me break it down for you. First, let's go with the concept of an operating agreement for a single-member LLC. Even for single-member LLCs, an operating agreement is highly beneficial. It helps establish your LLC as a legitimate business entity separate from its owner. This can provide liability protection and clearer tax guidelines. Some key provisions to include statement of the LLC's purpose and mission, designation of the LLC's management structure, guidelines for distributions and allocation of profits or losses, procedures for the owner's departure or addition of new members, succession plan in case of the owner's death or incapacity. Now let's talk about the operating agreement for multi-member LLCs. For multi-member LLCs, a comprehensive operating agreement is absolutely vital to avoid disagreements and clearly define each member's roles, rights, and responsibilities. It governs everything from member voting rights to profit or loss allocation to procedures for buying out a member's interest. Key provisions to include each member's percentage of ownership and capital contributions, voting rights and requirements for member approval on major decisions, allocation of profits, losses, and distributions, members' rights, powers, obligations, and restrictions, meeting requirements and procedures for decision-making, procedures for transferring ownership interest, processes for adding new members or member withdrawals, expulsion, guidelines for dissolving or terminating the LLC. Having these details formally documented in an operating agreement approved by all members protects everyone's interests and prevents costly misunderstandings. In most scenarios, you may be asked to proof the ownership of your U.S. company. So how can you do that with a single-member LLC operating agreement? If you need to prove ownership of your U.S.-based single-member LLC, to open a bank account, apply for license or permits, or enter into contracts, your operating agreement is crucial evidence. You shouldn't overlook drafting a good standing operating agreement when starting your businesses. It clearly establishes you as the sole member and manager of the LLC. Be sure to include your name, percentage of ownership, and management authority within the operating agreement. Some banks or institutions may also require additional documentation, like your LLC's Articles of Organization or an operating agreement certification, confirming you as the sole member. Finally, let cover tips for updating your Wyoming LLC operating agreement. Your business needs may evolve over time, which is why it's important to periodically review and update your operating agreement as needed. Some key reasons to update are adding or removing LLC members, changing management or operational procedures, modifying profit or loss allocation or distribution policies, admitting new classes of membership interests, revising the valuation process for membership interest. Any amendments made should be documented with a formal written resolution approved by all members to maintain your liability protection. I'll also include a link in the description for readers to check out zenbusiness, an awesome platform that can handle your Wyoming LLC formation, an operating agreement for surplus state fees. So what are you waiting for? Get that operating agreement in place to protect your LLC today. There you have it, folks. A comprehensive guide on the vital role an LLC operating agreement plays, especially for those operating in the business-friendly state of Wyoming. Don't let your LLC's operations be governed by default state rules that may not align with your interests. Take control by drafting a detailed operating agreement that clearly defines your LLC's structure, member roles, and procedures. It's an essential document that can prevent costly disputes and protect your business interests. If you found this information valuable, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss our future videos on business, finance, and legal topics. Be sure to check out the links in the description below for special offers and resources related to forming Wyoming LLCs and drafting professional operating agreements. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.